The Fed, though, do you want to talk a little bit about that? About your lifetime ban?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that's like a thing they do, isn't it? Like,
They
don't they
ban
love
guys
the
for life?
Yeah, isn't that like I mean, it was for you, it was for me. Like,
Well,
it's a threat they like to throw around, anyways.
allow me to spin this in a way that I think a lot of people can understand. And I'll just use this analogy because it's comparable, and I think a lot of people hopefully see it. And if you don't see that, well, I think maybe you're being a little bit ignorant. But let's use politics for the example. If somebody came into the game and changed everything up and shook it up and said, this is wrong, I want to do something for the people, the guys who are the gatekeepers and in charge would probably say, no, we're not playing the game that way. We're going to play the game our way, and we're going to shuffle the deck in our favor. Now, in the game of minor pro hockey, if some dude comes in, hypothetically, possibly, potentially, maybe, who knows, a fighter or maybe a goalie, I'm not saying who, but maybe possibly, and he comes in and he's bringing people to the rink, he's putting asses in seats, dollars in the bank account, which, again, for a lot of the teams that I played for, that's what we care about. We care about dollars and cents, because it's a very tight budget, obviously. But if that dude is putting dollars and cents in the bank, but potentially grabbing more power than us in the process, do we kill him in his infancy, or do we ride it out and try to work as a net beneficial relationship and a win-win-win? If you're winning and I'm winning, we're winning. But I think a lot of guys don't look past that.
Well,
Now,
some people don't have the capacity to think like that.
I think a lot of people think, how do I want to word this? I didn't prepare for this beforehand. I think a lot of people in minor pro sports think in a selfish way, not in self-enlightenment, of how can we win. And we were talking about this on our walk, to the Lookout, was if I can give to you and fill your cup up, you're going to give some back to my cup. But if I tell you what you can put in your cup, you're probably going to resent me. Right? And if you win, I win. If we win, everybody wins. But they don't see past that. And so they
just want to fill your cup with their stuff.
Well, they're going to tell you what cup to use, and they're going to tell you what's going to go in it. And if you don't like it, well, too bad. And so, for example, let's say team in Binghamton, one of the guys has a DV, beats the shit out of his wife, and one of the guys in the league comes out and says, allegedly, and one of the guys in the league says, hey, that's wrong. We should not be doing that. And the commissioner says, hey, take that down, or we're going to suspend you 5 games for posting that. And that player was to say, potentially, hypothetically, no, I'm not taking it down. I said what I meant what I said, and suspend me if you like. Okay, well, we're going to come down in person to your team's location. We're going to have a meeting and talk about the suspension. All right, come on down. Day of the meeting, they're not going to be suspending you, and the meeting is canceled. Fascinating.
Wow.
As my life coach would say,
Crazy.
fascinating. Isn't it fascinating how that works?
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Or maybe, possibly, potentially, if a dude posts his fights online and is gaining all this popularity, all these followers, all these eyeballs, gaining brand, gaining power away from the team, maybe we got to get rid of him because he's going to have more power than us. And he has the potential to bury us. And because as an owner in minor pro hockey, you've already won the money game. Right? Like if you have 100, 200, 500 million in the bank, like what's an extra 500 million going to do for you? So at that point, it's about power and control. So how do I assert more power and control considering I've won the money game? Well, I'm not going to give you any of it. I don't care how many fight videos you post online or how many cute little vlogs you post online, getting how many tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of views. You're gaining power and I want it.
Yeah.
Leave.
I think like it has to be a lesson, and whether whoever it is, if they're in a scenario like that, they have to learn from it. Like at the end of the day, my situation was great. I feel like it was the best thing for me when it happened. I always know bad things happening or they create growth and they're good. Like there's nothing bad that can happen to me because I know that every bad thing makes me stronger, makes me a better human. I can grow from it. So there's literally nothing bad that can happen. So when that first happened to me, I was like, okay, because it was hard. And I was like, okay, I know this is for me. I just got to wait it out and I just got to breathe for a couple of days. I was with AJ when I first found out. I was done. Hockey was over for me pretty much is how I felt. And that's what they wanted. They wanted to end my hockey career. They wanted me to never play hockey again, and that's what they thought. But what a great lesson for them, because look where I am now, and I'm growing. I'm continuing to grow, and I'm gonna continue to grow. And I'm able to play in a place where not only the league is grateful, but the teams are grateful, and they want the marketing. It's a good thing, right? And at the end of the day, it's like, I think it's got to be a lesson for whoever was. I don't even know who was on the other end of that whole situation. Really, I can make a guess.
If there was a situation.
Yeah, right. So like whoever decided that I wasn't in the league, but I think it's got to be a great lesson for them that, you know, if you're trying to knock somebody down, guess what? They're going to grow even bigger, because that's a lesson for you to learn. So I'm grateful it happened the way it did, and I'm grateful everything went down. I wouldn't change any of it because you know, it got me where I am today. And at the end of the day, that's it's growth, and I'm moving up as I was.
And on the other side of adversity, the bigger the adversity, the bigger the growth. It's very uncomfortable in the middle, sorry. But again, the bigger adversity, the bigger the growth. And just to paint the story, so if maybe anybody doesn't know, so you were playing against Motor City Rockers, my former employer. Run his head through the glass, I guess is how they saw things, right, after a goal. And they give you 18 games for it. You sit out 16 games? 16 of the 18. And then right as this...
Or maybe 12, I can't remember.
So let's go 12. Let's go conservative here. So you're on the 12-game suspension. You get 6 left to go. They decide, oh, it's been a month, 6 weeks has gone by already. We're going to give you an indefinite suspension. Now, it's not a lifetime ban. That's very different. It's an indefinite suspension. We don't know how long it's going to be, but it's not a lifetime ban. Now, we don't have a reason for it, but you're banned, and we're not going to have any meetings. You can't appeal this. I know we said you might have been able to before, but you can't appeal it now. And so we wish you the best of luck.
You know what the crazy thing was too, is at the beginning when I got the 18-game suspension, they said, if you appeal it, it's going to go to a league vote, and the league will have the ability to give you an indefinite suspension. So we didn't appeal it. We just soaked the 18-gamer because we were like, you know what? Let's just take the 18 games. At least I can play hockey when I'm done. And then they just decided, when I'm halfway done my suspension, they just decided, actually, you know what, we changed our mind. Which is crazy, because at the end of the day, that was my employment. That's how I paid my bills. And for them to say...
Especially around Christmas time, too.
Yeah,
it
was crazy.
Time.
Yeah, thank God I got taken care of. Danbury took care of me. But like, that was a crazy situation to be in. And but at the end of the day, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for everything. The way I look at it, and I explain this to people, is like, when bad things happen, or like, you know, like it's like the universe will give you a stare. This is how I imagine everything. They'll give you a stare, and it's a challenge. Like the stare would be maybe a death, or maybe like something bad happening, and it's a stare. Once you finally overcome the stare and you've heard to realize, okay, this is a challenge, this is a growth, I can get better from this, then you step up. And now you're stepping up here, and now you kind of see the world from a little bit higher, and everything looks a little different. You can actually see a little bit more from up here now. And then everything, you start to get comfortable, and all of a sudden a bigger stare comes. Bigger than the last one. And then you're like, oh my God, here we are again, right? And then finally you figure it out, you learn the lesson, and then you step up, now you see even more. And I feel like it's just an endless, you know, it's just an endless set of stairs, and they'll just keep coming. The challenges will keep coming. But once you get to the point of realizing that these things are for us, they're not happening to us, I feel like it gives you the ultimate power. And I feel like that's where I am now. I'm able to be grateful for the worst.
Well, and that power is a beautiful thing too, because when you go with the mindset of this happened to me, you're the victim and you can't do anything about it. You've relinquished your ability to do something incredible about it. But if it happened for me, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. God wants me to show him the beauty of his creations. God wants me to show him my adversity, why he should be proud of me. Adversity builds character. Rising tide raises all ships. And it's cliche, and obviously when you're in the moment, it's tough. It's like, man, this is difficult, this is hard. But as David Goggins would say, who's going to row those boats? Who's going to carry the logs? Get those boats rowing, Ames.
Yeah, I love it. It's, at the end of the day, I feel like going through some dark times kind of gave me that ability, and now it's just got me to the point where it's I can handle situations like that pretty well.
Do you regret it at all?
It's tough to say. Like, I wish it didn't happen the way it did. I wish nobody got hurt. Of course, I wish nobody got hurt. But I'm grateful it went down the way it did. I'm grateful for it because it all went the way it did because, you know, and everybody's okay. You know, crazy the guy's playing hockey again. It's crazy. I thought he's never going to play again. So I'm grateful that everybody ended up being okay. I'm grateful that it happened the way it did. So I ended up, you know, moving on and growing from it, and everybody got a chance to grow. I wish it could have gone a little different, but I can't say I would have changed it.
You ever get any shit from the mic'd up videos from the league?
Which, the ECHL ones or the Fed? Not really, no. I don't think I did. I don't think I ever really got grilled about it even, which is crazy. I don't know. Yeah, I never really got grilled about the mic'd up videos in the Fed, so which I was surprised about.
That's fantastic. That's so good for the game, though.
Yeah, I think as time goes on, I know you know this too. Like sometimes you'll do something or you put something online, and then like later on you'll be like, oh my God, that's online. You know, like I'm sure you've done it. And sometimes you're like, oh, well, it's there now, you know? But I think like the part of the process, especially with like being online and having a following and stuff, you learn from these things. So I learned like what works, what's good for the brand, what's good for the league, what's good for my brand and stuff like that. And you kind of adjust it as you go. So that's something I'm learning. And I feel like I've definitely posted stuff in the past where I'm like, you know, I wish I would have bleeped out all my videos from the very beginning, honestly. I wish I did, because there's a lot of content out there where I'm F this, F that. And it's like, do I really want that out there like that? At this point, I don't know. I don't. At the beginning, I was like, that's authentic. That's who I am. But now I'm seeing all these young kids come up to me, these 12-year-olds, and I'm like, man, I wish that I would have at least bleeped those things out, you know? But at the end of the day, I'm learning as I go. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's about growth, so.
Well, and what's the difference though between trying to tailor your message so that it can hit more people, like obviously less swearing, and changing who you are, right? Because I don't want to change who I am. No, you don't either. But how can we tailor this to hit more people and be effective in communicating that? Exactly that. And I mean, also, you've sworn more times in the last 20 minutes than I have in three years of doing this podcast.
Hey, if you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button. We do a new podcast every single Sunday during the season called Sling the Biscuit. It is a non-mainstream hockey podcast. So we talk about my hockey career, the minor pros, Spain, the Fed, you name it, all the stuff that you won't hear in the mainstream news.
Music,
pop culture,
politics.
Thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you soon. Peace.